Incidentally, we just a few meters away from the mouth of the river, we do harvest salt. And so when you harvest salt from the ocean, it gets into those pods where we dry it. Part of that is plastic. And then what happens? Plastic is packaged back into your house, into the table.
I never thought of it that way.
It comes back to you.
I actually never thought of it that way.
If you are the person who adds salt into your
On
food
top of food directly, without cooking
without cooking, it means even the particles don't coalesce to be particles. They just remain very minute. And they end up in your bloodstream.
So that means you have ingested plastic again into your system.
And it ends up in your kidneys, because kidneys were not manufactured
to filter plastic, yes.
Yeah, and so what happens with the kidneys?
You have kidney problems.
It can't last 50
kidney
years.
failure, yes. And one kidney has to be taken out. Wow, because your body cannot digest, even your stomach cannot digest plastic.
Yeah, but now there's a filter that is supposed to filter. To filter and just store it there because it has filtered. Yeah. And then you have maybe kidney stones. You have such diseases. Yeah. Yes. Kidneys, even the kidney failure without any explanation. For a person at the age of 70, kidney issues used to come after 80, when you are old enough and you can say, the machine on a kazi. But at 40 now you are losing your kidney
cannot. So you mean all this comes from me being careless with a single cup of a plastic?
And tossing it outside the window.
Outside the window.
It gets into some water drain. As it travels down, I normally videotape plastic when it is raining. They don't want to go down. They resist. And
they want to float.
They want to float, and they want not to pass through those tiny spaces. They accumulate there.
Yes.
But as they do that, the scratching and as they twist down river, they get worn out.
Wow.
To find a microfiber.
And now, speaking of plastic, there was United Nations Environmental Program 50 years anniversary, and the main discussion was plastics.
Correct.
They have become a menace. And in our newspapers and in our videos, we used to see a huge pile of plastics that have become a menace in our oceans. People go to Mombasa, they have gone for trips, but after drinking water, what do? They throw the plastic into the water, back to the ocean. So that has become a menace.
I think exactly. The image you saw is a tap. With when you open the tap, what comes out is plastic.
Plastic,
It cannot be visible. Microplastics are so tiny that you can't see them with your naked eye.
Yes.
They are that fine. But in the graphic on that display that was there, they were showing us what's coming down.
What is coming, yes.
And so this is just an indication of what is happening to our food chain. Our food is getting more and more plastic. Even the fish contains a lot of plastic. Whatever vegetation, you go for sukuma, the dust that falls on it is plastic.
The water that is watered in the river, it has plastic.
It's also plastic. And believe it or not, it's not even 50 years since plastic came into this world. So if something that is happening only for 50 less than a lifetime is affecting everything, then it means we have really impacted negatively on the environment. And that's why the call for banning of plastic. Reimagining plastics. For God's sake, why should you make a glass bottle, a plastic cup of plastic?
Yes.
When you can do glass. And Kenya starts to be the beneficiary of that technology. Kenya has all the sand to make glass. We have the soda ash. We export 75% of soda ash in the world.
Yes.
Meaning if we went glass, it is Kenya that will benefit most.
Wow.
And so you should promote, everybody should talk about plastic, and please stop taking bread in plastics. We know there's a company here in Kenya, or two, that package their bread in wax paper.
Wax paper, yes.
And it has been selling for years.
And they have not rebranded.
They've not rebranded.
Yes, and they're still making money.
And the other company come, they advertise, they do a lot, but these guys are still selling. And I find there are trucks everywhere in the country, meaning the business is not bad. What justification do we have for supporting packaging of bread in a clear
plastic,
paper?
yes.
That you empty one in 5 minutes within your table and it is gone, then the plastic itself can become a menace for 100 years.
Because maybe a cow is feeding and it will eat the plastic.
Great. I've done a lot of research at the slaughterhouse in Kitengela, and what we noticed is that one cow had 43 kgs of plastic.
43 kgs of plastic.
Yeah, it's a teenager's weight. 43 kgs is a weight that a cow carries every day. And this, for plastic to become that heavy, it is knotted, it is compacted within the stomach, and this ends up becoming a loss to the farmer because the farmer has to sell the cow when there's no more space for food. There's no more space for food.
Yeah. And actually no appetite.
Yeah.
Because of the reactions of the plastic with maybe the stomach acid, because it is trying to digest something that cannot be digested.
Yeah, actually, a joke is told that if you're mailing from the Masai land and then you take cows from Kitengela as dowry, they will be dead in 2 weeks because they are used to, they cannot eat grass. There's no space in their stomach for grass. They can only eat avocado peels, banana peels and soft food. So it's even affecting our culture.
Yes.
So badala kupeleka ng'ombe huko wanakuambia tuletee pesa.
Leta pesa tukanunue ng'ombe because they trust their cows have eaten grass. But cows from Kitengela have eaten avocado and plastics because the plastics are everywhere.
If with 43 kgs, it means there's no space for other food. There's no grass, space for grass or fodder. Can only eat those fine foods, chips in bags.
Yes.
Thrown away. That is bad, how bad it is.
And now, sorry, and now you being an environmentalist, we have seen that in some areas where we are told it is dry, like for example in Kitui, we have seen some of the best watermelon coming from that county. Does it mean that we are doing something wrong with our environment? We are not conserving our environment the way we are supposed to?
Actually, nature has a way of balancing. That you can get sweet watermelon from Kitui. It just means that the soils there are better. They are suited, and because of the warm climate, they are good for that.
Okay.
If you get watermelon from Nyandara or Murang'a, it will be too watery. It will not have the sweet taste. I recently got some watermelon from somewhere behind the Gong Hills, Kimuga. And they were so sweet. The student kept asking, can we get more? Yes. And it tells you our country is blessed. Every inch of our country is blessed to grow something. So you can imagine if what we call a desert, just beyond Kitui, northeastern, could be doing watermelon for the whole world. And we don't need to do a lot of, we don't have to pursue ourselves to produce such crops. We only need the water. And if you supplied water to Kitui, to Wajir, to Mandela, and they ask them, just supply us with enough watermelon, there will be, we found ourselves supplying avocado to almost the whole world.
Yes, the UK, especially the UK.
Yeah, and they say avocado is sweeter than what is from the Southern Americas.
Yes.
So our country is actually bare with some of the ground. Travel from Nairobi to Mombasa, there's no forest, there's no tree cover, there's no farming to take in place. We are told, coffee cannot do well, tea cannot do well, so no farming. But what about watermelons? What about kunde? What about small beetroots? What about strawberries, like the mulberry? We can do forestry, not for the purpose of growing trees, but to cover the ground so that we can absorb the carbon in the environment. That being watermelon has a lot of carbon in it. So we have deposited carbon in that, and we have actually reduced pollution. So we could do massive planting of vegetation which can be fed even to camels, can be fed to cows. Even if it was not absorbed by the market, we would still be able to support
it will still be able. And now, because Mr. Daniel, we have run out of time, and it seems like because we have so much to do with our environment, we cannot finish in one sitting. Now, in a span of maybe 2 minutes, what would you tell, what would be your advice out there on how to restore our environment? Because we need restoration. And by restoration, we need this product just to clean our systems. We need this product to clean the water that is coming out of it. And how do we conserve our environment? In just 2 minutes, and maybe once we get back, you will tell us also how to get to you and the price of 1 kg of EcoTreat waste digester, and also the 5-liter liquid as well, in the solid manner and the liquid form as well.
Thank you. About ecosystem restoration, I would like to look the viewer in the eye and ask them that should you have any space within your environment where you can plant trees, kindly do so. There is no other way of removing carbon that we have, carbon dioxide and methane gas that we have put in the environment other than planting trees. There are no machines that will come and harvest carbon. Even if they were there, they would be so expensive, Kenya may not afford them. But a tree is, what you see in a tree is carbon. And it's the best way to deposit or sequester, we call it sequester, keep that carbon in that form. If everybody here around his compound to be planted with the trees, even if you don't have trees, you can ask your neighbor, or you can reach out to Christine and ask her to get us. We'll plant trees in your compound.
Yes.
You water them for you. If you can't water them until they take root. And that way, we may change the environment. This area, Kajiado, Kitengela, wasn't this well covered with the trees. We see trees growing here. These were planted not more than 20 years ago. So if we can do this from every inch of this county, we planted trees and made this county green. Our farmers are going to get better crops. We are going to get rains coming at a better time. Our livestock keepers will be able to grow keep more animals. And don't forget, grass is also trees. If you can get as much grass to plant in your compound and water it, it will be great. Then comes our company, where we help you recover your wastewater. Every household has wastewater. Make use of that wastewater by treating it in a way that it is able to be used in the compound for greening, for lawn irrigation, for tree watering the tree line, and you could also use that water for other mundane uses like flushing toilets, where it's possible, in schools. But most important, plant trees and use that water for that purpose. Our product eliminates the bad odor that makes you not want to touch the dirty water. It also cleans the water and enables it to be reabsorbed in the environment to replenish our groundwater resources, such that your neighbor who has a borehole also gets some water replenished in the underground aquifer. This is what we preach. We want you to make your environment your first priority, give nature an opportunity, or give nature a chance to serve you, and make sure that your great grandchildren, who may not get the money that is in your bank account now, because you may not know their names, so you can't write a check for them. Make sure that they will have an environment they can call safe and well livable. An environment you would be proud if you came back in 500 years and saw the environment that you left behind you. I believe this is within your ability to do that. Don't talk about government funds. Don't talk about donor funding. You are the donor because your grandchildren will hold you accountable. If you don't do that, and some of the effects of global warming that we are now seeing, lack of food, poor pastures, that makes families be separated, because families, part of the family have to go very far to look for fodder for the animals. That is splitting families. You could make your environment better and actually influence what happens around you, to even encourage you to actually keep animals that you are able to manage within your compound or within the land you have without you having to move them. On the aspect of what we do, we design wastewater treatment systems. These are normal 2 chamber, but we split them into 4 chambers.
Yes.
Then we use a product we've talked about, EcoTreat Waste Digester. This is a Kenyan product. It's completely Kenyan. I would be proud to say that. If not Kitengela, because that's where our company is based.
Yes.
And we supply the whole of the world with the same. And this product, you will get it from our offices in Kitengela, opposite Eastmart. You could also reach out through Christine, who could actually direct you on getting us, but we could also share our contact or our social media platforms. We are on Ecosave Africa, both on ecosaveafrica.com on our website, Instagram, Ecosave Africa, Twitter, Ecosave Africa, Facebook, Ecosave Africa, and if around, I could request I could give us my number, my office number.
Please
which
do.
is 0721 279688. 0721 279688. We will advise you on how to make a better wastewater management system for you to be able to recover water. Kitengela is water scarce. We should treat every drop with the caution it deserves, because it's a resource and you don't allow it to run out of your compound having not given you value. And that is what we support. We call it on-site waste management.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Daniel, for coming in and for giving us your time to just explain to us about EcoTreat Waste Digester and also about conservation of our environment. I have learned a lot myself, and now, of course, I didn't know about the responsibility. Now I know I am much better and I will be responsible. Thank you so much for coming in. And of course, we will be in touch for more of this, because it seems like we need more lessons to conserve our environment from an innovator like you. And a product that has, a small product that has made you go around the world.
True.
And get so many awards for that matter.
Indeed.
Yes, thank you so much. And now that is the end of our show for tonight. I hope that you have learned, because I know that I will be more responsible when it comes to waste management and disposing of. Make sure you don't drink water and throw off the plastic. Ensure that you dispose your garbage very well, and also treat every drop of water with the value that it deserves, because it will save you. And ensure that you are an advocate for change when it comes to environment. That is all for Innovation Show. My name is Christine Mutindi. Have a good night.